In today's brief video, I want to share with you guys one major mistake that I made in my journey quitting smoking weed, a mistake that resulted in an extremely fragile sobriety and recovery. I hope this is a mistake that you yourself will avoid. If you're new to the channel, my name's Dr. Frank. I'm the founder of AddictionMindset recovery coaching programs, and if you want to learn more about our paid and free program resources, be sure to check out the pinned comment or the video description. The mistake that I made in my quitting weed journey was putting all of my eggs into one basket when it came to my sobriety process. A lot of times I'll see people, myself included, quit a substance and they'll invest all of their energy and all of their effort into their relationship with their significant other, or they'll put all of their effort and all of their energy into fitness, or they'll put 100% of their efforts into their career or their job, or sometimes even into their faith. And the reason why this becomes dangerous is because when you have all of your sobriety teetering on one single element, if a ripple comes along and disrupts that aspect of your life, there's a good chance that your sobriety and recovery will crumble. I'll use the example of working out. So many times when people quit substances, they put all of their efforts into exercise. They become exercise fanatics. And trust me, I'm no exception to this. But what I like to pose is, what happens if you tear your rotator cuff or you injure your lower back and you're not able to exercise for a prolonged period of time? And this is something that I see happen to people as they're going through our coaching programs. The person all of a sudden will start going back to using drugs because they had all of their sobriety dependent upon exercise, dependent upon physical activity. And if that gets stripped away, they now don't have any other outlet or any other coping mechanism to deal with day-to-day life that they were using drugs to deal with. And this is a mistake that I would encourage you to avoid if you're in the process of quitting smoking weed and you want to maintain long-term recovery without relapse. Now, how do you avoid doing this? I want to use the comparison of building your recovery or sobriety castle. I know that sounds a little corny, but please stick with me. So the sobriety that I obtained from nicotine, THC, energy drinks, adult media content, substances that I struggled with, was the foundation for this imaginary castle, okay? And then within this castle, I want you to picture a series of different pillars. For me, the pillars involve my family life. Another pillar is my business. Another two pillars in the castle are my hobbies. Then I have my physical fitness and my physical health. Then I have my finances and my other interests. And then another pillar could be your faith. Each of these things is one of the supporting beams within my sobriety and recovery process. I want your recovery castle or your sobriety castle to be impenetrable. I want you to create a space in which addiction is not welcome. I don't want you to break your addiction. I want you to bury it and build an entirely new life for yourself atop it. Now, I picture my castle to have a moat out front, and that could be a series of friendships that I have that help to keep me sane. I have a bridge going over the moat that an intruder or addiction would have to cross. And maybe that bridge is one of my various hobbies. Maybe that's target shooting. Maybe it's building things. Maybe it's cleaning. Yes, cleaning's a hobby of mine. Then I have armed guards surrounding the doors, and maybe that's a community, maybe that's a faith-based thing. And then I have big locks on these huge doors to enter my castle, and each door represents another aspect of my life. Maybe one is physical fitness, maybe one is, working with a therapist or doing something for your mental health that's positive. Maybe it's my career. And I describe it like this because when you quit doing substances, when you quit smoking weed, drinking alcohol, doing drugs, the goal isn't just to quit. The goal is not to get sober. The goal is to find new interest in new things that you can become excited about and passionate about. The goal is to build upon the life that you had prior to substance use, or if your life was crap, the goal is to build an entirely new lifestyle for yourself, entirely new interests, entirely new friends, entirely new connections with family members, whatever it may be that pertains to your specific situation. And I describe it as building your recovery castle because this takes time. I make a video like this, and a lot of people are going to watch this and think, okay, I have to go get all the hobbies down and I have to fix my career immediately and I have to fix my relationships immediately. And I've said this in other videos. The reality is that's not going to happen overnight. And this is actually the part of sobriety and recovery that requires the most patience. It's in building up other aspects of our life if we didn't already have those things in place. Some people watching this just have to make a return to those things. Some people have to start from the foundation, from the ground up. Each of these various things is going to take time, and I can't emphasize that enough. For me personally, I started with my career. I started with work. The reality is life, it takes money to be able to do things, and I knew that that was important. If I wanted to have a family, if I wanted to have children, I wanted to be able to support my wife, to support my kids. I wanted to feel a very, very minimal financial stress going forward, because I know how terrible financial stress can be. So for me, my priority number one was getting my various businesses in line. It was getting my career in line. And this was actually a very healthy thing for me to do, because I really didn't have much else going on at that point in my life, because much of my time was actually dedicated to active addiction. So working and driving an income and becoming passionate about what I do was a very positive thing for me. Now, once I built that pillar, then I got into dating. And after going through a few years of dating and trying to find the right person, I eventually met my wife. And we recently just had a beautiful baby boy together. So now we're starting to see me build out that family aspect of my sobriety process. And at this point, I wouldn't even call it sobriety. This is just me building out a life for myself. Then at one point along the way, I got really into physical fitness. I belonged to a gym, but then COVID-19 hit. And instead of going to the gym, I started to build a gym in my basement, right? Started acquiring used fitness equipment, started getting dumbbells when I could off of Craigslist, started to get some new equipment then down there. And fitness became a really, really important aspect of maintaining my overall well-being. And it's also a really healthy outlet for myself and for many people who are in addiction recovery. But I'm explaining this because each of these things went up brick by brick or piece by piece. You don't build a house overnight, and you're certainly not going to build a castle in an instant. And remember, we're not building a shack. What we're talking about building is the rest of your life, your future, everything that you have ahead of you. This is not a process that you can nor want to rush. So although I talk about this and although it's exciting and motivating, I can't emphasize enough that it's going to take time. And if you do this correctly, it should be established in a way that if one pillar collapses, if the family life falls apart, if the hobbies fall apart, if the finances fall apart, it's okay, because you can go lean on your faith. You can go lean on alternative interests. You can go lean on support communities or whatever else it is you do. You can go lean onto one of the other several pillars within that castle that you've developed. In order for addiction to creep back into my life, it would have to get through the moat. It would have to cross the bridge, break through all the armed guards, get in through the locked doors, and then it would have a heck of a time tearing down each of the various pillars that I've established throughout my sobriety and recovery journey over the last several years of sobriety. So if this is something that interests you, or you're not sure where to get started on building your foundational basis for all of this, what I want you to do is check out the free download, the 11 foundational pillars of sobriety and recovery. It's a free download. You can find it in the pinned comment or the video description. And if you need to get your quitting process kickstarted and you're struggling with withdrawal symptoms or cravings or brain fog or things like that, and you just can't seem to get through day one, check out our new Kick It Crave Less chewing gum supplement. It's a chewing gum that contains KSM 66 ashwagandha and N-acetylcysteine. You can find it in the shopping portion below right here on YouTube, or you can learn more on our website just by finding that link in the pinned comment or the video description for Kick It Crave Less chewing gum. It's an incredible product. I highly recommend it. I use it myself. All right, guys, I hope to talk again soon.